And when you have an MP like that dismissing what is well acknowledged that China does this, raises more questions about is the Prime Minister really serious about human rights in this country?
Yeah.
They finally said it. Earlier today, we covered an unbelievable committee meeting where Michael Ma attacked a witness's credibility just because she talked about forced labor camps in China that have been documented by the UN and human rights organizations around the world. When he was called out on it, he wanted the Conservatives to apologize for even bringing it up. Now he is facing backlash from all sides, even the CBC, and with every interaction, he is dropping the equivalent of weapons-grade napalm on a bonfire that he started. Now, Mark Carney is going to be in an impossible position as a result. Oh my gosh, let's take a look.
One of the Liberal Party's newest MPs is facing backlash over an exchange he had today at committee. Michael Ma was questioning a witness who is against Canada accepting Chinese electric vehicles. That witness raised human rights violations against Uyghurs in China, and Ma questioned the evidence of that claim.
You claim about forced labor in Shenzhen. Have you witnessed this yourself? Have you been there ever?
I've been to China many times.
Have you witnessed
since
forced labor in
1979?
Have you witnessed forced... Just a short answer. Have you witnessed forced labor in Shenzhen? Yes or no? So did you get that from
I work closely
hearsay?
with Human Rights Watch, where researchers did witness it.
So thank you.
Ma's office sent a statement to defend his action, saying Michael used a quick burst of yes or no questions to move away from the anti-China EV witness and then to give the floor to the pro-China EV witness. That was the strategy on paper.
That's not any better. If anything, that is a bajillion times worse. Because the Conservatives called the witness that he was questioning and was trying to tear apart her credibility. So his office is literally saying that the Liberals intentionally called a pro-China EV witness. How is this a better answer? And I want to know who wrote that answer in his office. Oh my goodness. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. Somebody in his office thought, okay, we have to respond. We have some time. Yes, this is going to be the best response. That the Liberals intentionally called a pro-China person to the committee. If anybody is wondering if the Liberals are pro-China, you don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe Pierre Poilievre. You don't have to believe any of the Conservatives. Believe the Liberals, because that's exactly what they said. From a Liberal MP's office. Holy crap.
The CBC's Olivia Stefanovich caught up with Michael Ma literally on Parliament Hill after that statement was issued.
To challenge a witness on forced labor in China. Do you believe there's forced labor in China? You do? Is that a yes, Mr. Ma?
Sorry, I'm late for a meeting.
Yes, but can you please explain your comments at the industry committee?
I have no comment at this time.
The Conservatives are making it seem like you don't care about forced labor in China or you don't believe in it. What do you think of that?
Well, they like to exaggerate always.
Was it really an exaggeration? Do you believe there is forced labor in China?
I believe there are forced laborers all over the world.
What about China specifically?
Well, all over the world.
But China specifically?
Yeah. Sorry, I need to run.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Michael Ma. Mr. Liberal MP Michael Ma. And the thing that really hurts them on this is this exchange that they had here, this is the exact same thing that the other Liberal MPs tried to do in committee today. Because the Conservatives put forward a motion after all this went down to say, okay, can we just as a committee try and say that China is committing these human rights violations, and that the committee can condemn this. So initially the Liberals were going to, and then the Conservatives introduced a motion to condemn the comments that Michael Ma had made to that witness. And then they said no. And then the Liberals amended that motion to say, well, we want to replace China with global. So they did not want to specifically call out China. And this is what we hear Michael Ma saying the exact same thing. So this is starting to reveal what the actual Liberal stance is on China, folks. And it's not China's the biggest threat to Canada, and it's not China's the biggest threat to the world, and it's not, no, we're not going to remove tariffs from China, we're going to be strong on China. You tell me what this is. Let's hear what the talking heads have to say on CBC.
Okay, I'm going to start with you, Bob, because I know you've written a lot about China. You followed this issue. You know what's going on in Xinjiang. You know what the past parliaments have said about possible genocide in that part of China. Seems like Mr. Ma sort of downplaying potentially that sort of issue, forced labor in that part of the world. What do you make of that exchange?
Well, first of all, the witness is Margaret McCraig Johnson, who is actually a former senior civil servant. She's highly respected in this town, and the question, and when she knows what she's talking about, and she's read up on Human Rights Watch, for example, has talked about aluminum that is used in EVs and other products from China that are used from forced labor. We have laws in this country against forced labor. This man seemed to be parroting the line of the Chinese government, and we're waiting now for a clarification, which will be with the Prime Minister's office's gun to his head, and I'm assuming it's going to be, well, we do, you know, I didn't mean the way it came across, and I suspect we will not be hearing very much from Michael Ma until the next election campaign, but it's not a joking matter either. Forced labor, particularly amongst Uyghurs, has been well documented. The G7 countries have acknowledged it, and for a sitting member of parliament to somehow suggest that this is not serious and that the witness is making this up, frankly, is appalling.
My goodness, we agree with Robert Fife. See, we're not so different after all. But he makes some good points. Like, this is a highly respected lady. Tanya talked about this on her video earlier, which you should see it because we go into a lot of detail on this, and we uncover some other skeletons that Mark Carney was hiding about China in that. But you look at that, and the response that she had to Michael Ma wasn't one of discomfort. It was more of being incredulous that she's even being asked this. Like, you saw her being like, what are you asking? And you can even hear Michael Ma say, is it hearsay? It's not hearsay that there is forced labor camps in China. It is not hearsay that there's documented evidence of the Uyghurs being forced to manufacture aluminum for other products in China. It is out there. And for him to be trying to parrot this like it allegedly is, people need to be screaming from the hilltops, not just conservative voters, all Canadians. As Bob Fife said, I didn't say it, Bob Fife said it. And we covered this on the early reporting of Michael Ma when he originally flipped, where he was at a pro-China celebration. And when Bob Fife says, well, listen, he's repeating and regurgitating the People's Republic of China's talking points, and you can see the CBC host nodding and agreeing with them. We have to question, what master does Michael Ma actually serve?
I think the problem for the government on this is that the Prime Minister and the government are already being accused of turning a blind eye to some of the concerns in human rights and accusations for the Chinese government in order to expand the economic ties and bring in potentially electric vehicles. To have one of your own MPs trying to shut down a witness who is raising concerns that potentially those electric vehicles are made with the slave labor that has been outed in so many reports. I think that's a big problem for the government. It's already something they've struggled to defend. They haven't really defended it well, and now they have an MP who's trying to sort of, well, do you really have? You haven't seen it with your own eyes. Well, I guess we haven't. It doesn't really happen. Like it's a big problem for them. I think it's a question that the Prime Minister is going to get the first time he stands in front of a mic.
And we've heard that the budget cuts have led to either layoffs or movement of people who are responsible for forced labor in the global affairs and economic social development department have either been laid off or moved to other portfolios. We have very strong forced labor laws in this country, but if you don't have anybody to enforce it, and this has all happened under Mark Carney's watch, and people are saying, look, seems to be more interested, and it's important that we diversify our trade, and it's important that we focus on the economy, but we also have to stand up for human rights. And when you have an MP like that dismissing what is well acknowledged that China does this, raises more questions about is the Prime Minister really serious about human rights in this country?
Yeah.
They finally said it. On CBC, they finally said it, because here's the problem. However much the Liberals smell, people will only tolerate it to a certain point, and then they have to say, I can't. And this is on one of those issues, because it's indisputable. And the narrative that is building against the Liberals and Mark Carney is not a good one at all, especially around China and human rights. You just wait to see the firestorm that is coming, because this is not going to go away. And here's the problem. Mark Carney is going to have to make a decision. Do I keep on this guy, or do I expel him from caucus and lose my majority? This is going to be the choice, because this is going to continue, and questions are going to be, well, what was discussed in China? Is this part of what was agreed to behind closed doors, that Canada and the MPs and Mark Carney would come back and promote China, do damage control, run interference, as it were, for China in Canada? Because that's what it seems like. Remember, it wasn't just Michael Ma trying to downplay this in committee. It was the other Liberals as well. So this is fascinating. And it's fascinating to see the CBC is actually covering this, because even they are saying, okay, we cannot go along with this one. So ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be very, very interesting. Michael Ma has just royally screwed Mark Carney. And it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.